DP Review named the 24mm from Sony the prime lens of 2018. What else is there to say? Well, I've got some opinions. I've been shooting with this lens for the last 2 weeks. I skipped the Sedona astrophotography event sponsored by Sony and took this lens to Alaska, where I plan to capture awesome aurora borealis and night skies filled with stars and, well, total strikeout there. But I've still had a fantastic time shooting with this lens, and I want to share some thoughts with you. I can keep this review short. This is a fantastic 24mm lens and quite deserving of that award from DP Review. It's got no real flaws. You see, one of the early appeals of the Sony system to me, and the reason that I bought into it, one of the reasons, was to be able to travel lighter and still get that full frame goodness. And while I do end up with heavier lenses from time to time on my Sony bodies, lenses like the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 and the 85 f1.8, and now this Sony 24mm f1.4, these really nice lightweight lenses lighten my load. I mean, these match so nicely with Sony bodies. This is the smallest and lightest 24mm f1.4 full frame lens I've ever used. I love the size and weight. It weighs in at just under a pound. For contrast, the Sigma 24 f1.4 is 1.47 pounds. That's a half pound more, or 220 grams. It's a pretty significant difference. Now, there is a significant price difference too, though. The Sigma is a cheaper alternative at $850, where this Sony comes in at almost $1,400. For comparison, Canon's 24mm f1.4 is 1.43 pounds, 650 grams, and is more expensive at $1,549. Nikon is 1.36 pounds, 620 grams, and costs almost $2,000. So there must be some sacrifices for these weight savings? No, it's weather sealed, it feels great in the hand with lovely build quality, provides an aperture ring, an AF/MF switch, you've got a customizable focus hold button, and even a click-declick switch for that aperture ring. And you've got a nice locking lens hood that's felted inside, and inside the lens you've got 11 rounded aperture blades for nice clean bokeh and beautiful light stars. And most importantly, it's sharp from corner to corner, even wide open at f1.4. And it provides decent close focusing abilities at about 9 inches. So all of these features add up together to give you a really well thought out, high performing lens that is portable. This is now my pick for best Sony mount astrophotography lens, even though I haven't shot any stars with it yet. Well, Alaska was cloudy for 4 days and the Seattle winter weather hasn't cooperated either, so I've reached out to a couple of fellow photographers that have shot the stars with it, and I'm really impressed with the sharpness and lack of coma. Now you might say, but it's not wide enough. Typically many landscape astrophotographers like 14mm or 18mm, and while that's true, I found that the more I've shot the stars over the last couple of years, the more I've found that 24mm to be plenty wide enough for a lot of my work. And generally I find that to be a more versatile focal length. Daytime, landscape, street scenes, and I even challenged myself to shoot some portraits the other night. Now, you certainly need to be careful about distorting your subject, but it works really well for environmental portraits, including some of the background as well. And this is a great general purpose video lens, balancing nicely on gimbals. I can't say the same thing across the board for your wider focal lengths. I find them to be more limiting in their use, and while I love some of those wider focal lengths at night, I struggle to carry them around on longer workshops when that is only a small portion of the photography. It all comes down to what you need and your subjects, but it's so fast. It also easily accepts filters at just the 67mm filter size, and again, that just kind of increases the versatility of this lens. Now, at 24mm, there is some minor distortion out of this lens, easily corrected in Lightroom, and really I've got nothing else to complain about with this lens. This will be added to my kit for any upcoming astrophotography workshops, which if you'd like to come along with us, you can look for a link right down below to see if we have any spaces on upcoming workshops. They're a great way to learn, capture awesome images, and have fun while doing it. And there's nothing like chatting about coma under a beautiful star-filled sky. Actually, I'd rather contemplate the vast differences between various celestial bodies and talk about that with you. But if you come on a workshop and want to talk about sagittal coma, we can do that. Now, I do recognize that this won't be considered a cheap lens. So if you're looking for more budget-friendly astrophotography or wide-angle lens options, I've got those, something like the Laowa 15mm or the IRIX, which also happens to be 15mm. I've got links and reviews on those right down below. And as a reminder, use of any of these affiliate links greatly supports what we do here at Photorec.tv. But if you're a Sony shooter looking for the best lens in, at, or around 24mm, this can't be beat. If you appreciate this video, hit that thumbs up button and click the subscribe button along with the bell to be notified of future gear reviews, photography tutorials, and more. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.